It's the final week of the regular season for WKU volleyball, and we're not done until we get through the postseason with these alumni spotlights. But for the last time in the regular season, it is time for another alumni spotlight presented by Alumni Hall, the official online store of WKU athletics. I'm Brett Williams, and the last couple of weeks I've been joined by some of the more recent alumni in Hilltopper/Lady Topper history. Today we turn back the clock to the turn of the millennium, and a member of the class of 2000. It's Kim Carpenter. How are you today, Kim?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yes, I'm the old group at this point. But
Don't
thank
worry,
you for letting me
wasn't going to qualify you as such, but
call it what you
gotcha.
want.
Well, what I will call you is this: a two-time first team All Sun Belt pick, the Sun Belt Player of the Year in 1998. And even though it was a while ago that you played here for the Hilltoppers, you still have your name all over the record books. Second all-time in single season kills in '98, also the leading all-time career kills per set leader for this program. So when you think back to that, how cool is it to see that those records have stood the test of time?
It's awesome. I mean, not just the records, but with the teammates I played with. I mean, I think we overachieved and outworked just about anybody that we came across. And so, yeah, I think that's really cool. It's really cool to be part of the program then, and it's really an honor to still be connected to the program now.
Well, you have
Yeah.
the one of the unique aspects is the fact that you were in on the very early part of Travis Hudson's tenure that now is in its 27th year, and your first year here in 1998 was the first 20-win season that Travis enjoyed. It was, one off year in 99, and then starting in 2000 began the 22-year run of such seasons, but you had it for the first time in 98, a 26-10 campaign. How cool was that to be a part of a program that, as Travis is quick to remind us, it didn't start off on the best note through his first couple of years, but to break through in '98? How cool was that?
I felt so honored to be a part of Western then. And in some ways, I think I begged to be part of Western's program. So to play for Travis was a really unique opportunity and one that still, the lessons I learned, I still carry with me today. So, as much as it's about wins and losses, it's sports to me, and I would have gone through the wall to win, and I still would today in my life. But ultimately, playing for Travis and being a part of Western at that time was so much bigger than just wins and losses. So it's awesome to be a part of the W's that started to occur, and then the life lessons and the impact I think we made on each other's lives is priceless. That's one for the record books, to be honest.
Well, of course, everything that encompasses the program has become the hallmark of that program under Travis, and all the alumni have always shared how in their particular era those lessons have translated, as you mentioned. So what was it like in those first few years seeing Travis start to impose those values on the program and really start to lay the foundation for what has come ever since?
I mean, personally, for me, I always knew that the shortfalls within my game, I outworked people, and I think that Travis represents so much of that, both on the court and off the court. That how you show up in life is really going to reflect what you get and the impact you make. And so being working with Travis at that time, I always knew I was cared for. I knew I was going to be pushed harder than what I could probably even push myself. I was going to be pushed hard, and the expectation was high, but I also knew I could achieve anything that I believed I could do, I could go do. And it was because of the role model that he was, the leadership that he would exude on the floor, and then ultimately that we were in it all together, and that when there was one person kind of slipping behind, we all would. So it was a family atmosphere then. I think it's a family atmosphere now, and it's unique to college sports. And getting to be a part of that at the time when we got to be a part of it is just a true gift. And to see it translate now into what's being created there now, it's cool to still feel part of something this long past it, and to know that, like, you can hear things or snippets of what Travis says now, or you can watch the team play now, and you know that underneath all of that are all these layers of all of us that came before. And it's like they stand on our shoulders, and I think that it's because of the leadership he has and how he has taken what was then and continued to grow it and expand it to touch more lives.
Kim, you bring up this point of building upon the shoulders of everyone who has come before, and Travis has mentioned that so often lately, talking about how the other night when the Tops won yet another Conference USA regular season crown, that they did it with the alumni, not in front of the alumni. There were a lot of them in attendance that night, but it was all part of them together because of how they have passed down that culture. So I'll ask you this, as you got ready to graduate and kind of pass that torch on, how did you bring in the next, still in the early stages of this program, but what role did you play in trying to pass along what you had learned from Travis and from being in this program to that next class that was coming in below you?
Well, I think for me, I've just always tried to lead by example. So, you know, for me, for me, I just knew that I was always going to work to do the right thing on the court, and to when things were stacked against us, to believe that it was still possible and to go after it. So I've always led more by actions than like standing up preaching or teaching. And so I feel like what role I played was to play my hardest, to show up early, to stay late, and to believe that we could win even when others didn't. And I think that that and that wasn't just me. I think that was my entire team. It was like we knew that if we just showed up and did our best and worked hard, that good things would happen. And I think that really laid the foundation for what you see today. There was an expectation that if you were a Hilltopper and you were going to play for Travis Hudson and that you were going to play on our team, there were just certain standards and work ethic that you were going to have to meet. And I think that started what you see now. I just think that there was no room for second best in effort. And if you knew that you were going to give your first best effort, then the team was going to grow and take care of itself.
And that absolutely has trickled down to today. You hear them all talk about those exact kind of things all the time. So love that consistency over 20 years. It's really impressive to see. And speaking of those last 20 years, what have they looked like for you since you left the Hill?
Oh gosh, my life's awesome. I own
and
run a very successful chiropractic practice in Louisville, Kentucky, and walk in every single day with the intention to make other people's lives better. Not much different than the things I learned from Travis Hudson. I know that if I can touch one life and that life touches another life, then I'm doing my job here on earth. I have two awesome children. I married a soccer player from Western Kentucky, and so we have a 10-year-old and we have a 12-year-old. And now my life really revolves around my daughter's acting and my son's lacrosse. And so I hope that they can grasp some of the lessons I learned at Western, because I think I'm a model of that in my daily life. And I know that even the way they show up in their life has to do with work ethic and making the world a better place, and doing the right thing. And, I think that's what I've done for the past, since I left Western. That's been my mission, to make the world a better place. And so that's what I do day in and day out. And every single day, if I'm having a challenging day, I can still hear Travis Hudson say, I love you and you can do this. And so I still pull on those lessons today.
Wow. That's profound, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, for him to, and what's really cool is that he didn't just touch my life. I'm sure you talk to alumni all the time, and I would say most every single one of us probably say that something similar to that,
You're absolutely
right. So
right.
Really remarkable.
It really is. That is so cool, and I applaud you for the way that you've taken that and kind of taken it by the horns and apply it to life and everything that you do. And I certainly know that you are doing just that, touching lives and encouraging your kids to do the same. So wishing you and wishing all of your family all the best and whatever the future may hold. Wanted to just tie this up, as I like to do, by looking back at this year's team, and you've alluded to it a few times. Obviously, what this program has turned into is nothing short of amazing, and particularly this class that has done the impossible, it seems, night in and night out, and the chance to tie a bow on this era with these 6 seniors who are getting ready to head out of here and a chance for some more championships and more postseason glory ahead. So as you look ahead to this final stretch for them, what would be your message for them to close out their careers the way that they want to?
Oh, give 110% and finish strong, right? I mean, dude, go through the wall and win the game. And if you do walk off the court with a loss, then know that you gave it 110% and that you weren't outworked, and that your team energy was higher than anybody else's there. And I think that'll take you far.
And certainly have impacted the community, to your point, with everything that they've done and who they've been time in and time out. And that's all you can ask for, right?
But you do, yeah.
Exactly. Well, Kim Carpenter, really appreciate your stopping by, Kim. Always love to connect with alumni of every generation, and certainly enjoyed making the connections between past, present, and future of this program. Thanks for joining us for this Alumni Spotlight.
Thank you, and go Tops.